how do we address long-term care?
Welcome to Barry's Bites. Please join our host, attorney and advisor Chris Barry.
There's a couple options. So first, we could self-fund. So we just pay out of our own money. Second, we can look at traditional long-term care insurance. Third, we can look at what's called asset-based long-term care strategies. Fourth, we can look at legal entities. Fifth, we can look at income strategies, where we structure the income to be able to cover long-term care costs. Self-funding, you have to have the funds to do it. Traditional long-term care insurance, this has a lot of disadvantages now. One is the increasing premiums, so the premiums can go up on you at any time. I've had clients that bought a policy before working with us, pay on it for 20 years at $4,000 a year, and then they increase the premium to $10,000. And you have to decide whether you keep the policy, let it lapse, go in a different direction. Also, there's no benefit at death. Kind of the old paradigm where these were the only two options, a lot of times there was kind of a rule of thumb where traditional long-term care insurance would be really for individuals who had between $500,000 to $1.5 million worth of assets. Anything less than that, then you kind of need those funds for retirement. Anything more than that, you wouldn't necessarily need to cover this in terms of an insurance. Because with this old traditional, there's no death benefit. So you could pay on this your whole life and there'd be nothing left at the end of the day. I'm not a big fan in most cases of this type of policy anymore. If you have an existing policy, you may want to continue it depending on where you are. But what we do is we figure out, A, do we stick with this current policy or do we look at one of these other options? Asset-based long-term care, this is a strategy I am a big fan of. And this isn't always just about covering the long-term care need. A lot of times it's about just leveraging your assets, where even if you have, say, $5 million, you might want to consider an asset-based long-term care strategy. If you only have $100,000, you might want to consider an asset-based long-term care strategy. There's different ways that it could be structured. This is about leveraging your current assets. This could also be something that you pay on over time as well to fill it up. But really, it's just leveraging your current assets to address two things. One that may happen and the other that for sure will. One is you may need long-term care. 3 out of 4 of us will need long-term care at some point. And the average cost of a nursing home right now is $8,000 to $12,000 a month. And then also, you're going to pass away at some point. We haven't figured out a way around that. Number 4 would be legal entities. So this is something that our law practice has spent a lot of time perfecting. We have an asset protection trust that we move assets into the trust. And once we make it 5 years, everything is protected from that nursing home or Medicaid spend down. And we could put things like your home and investments inside of here. And because Medicaid has a 5-year look-back period, everything inside of the trust would be protected. And then 5th strategy is more of an income strategy, where we look at your income sources, Social Security, pensions, and then if we can draw on your assets, maybe something like a fixed index annuity that normally would pay out, let's say, $2,000 per month. But now if you were to need long-term care after 2 years, then the payout could double to $4,000 per month. The nice thing about this is there's no underwriting. We just have to wait 2 years. So even if you had a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or something like that, this would be a strategy to leverage those assets without having to go through underwriting to create more income to cover home care, assisted living, or nursing home care. So those are really the planning strategies as it relates to long-term care. And I'm not saying everyone should rush out and drop their traditional long-term care insurance. I'm just saying that typically it's not something we're looking at moving forward for families. And if you already have one, I'm not saying drop it. I'm saying let's look at the other options. And one of them might be to keep that traditional long-term care insurance policy. But now there's new strategies, new options that are available. See if any of them make more sense. And then if they do, then only at that point would we consider dropping that long-term care. Because I always want to make sure you're in a better spot.